Howard Stern Show.
So when Conan comes out, and it has this huge success, does your world change immediately? Is that when you start hearing about Terminator? Like they go, okay, I know they were thinking in Terminator. I'm talking about the first one. They were thinking about O.J., believe it or not, as the Terminator.
That's right.
They were thinking about Mel Gibson as the Terminator, and they had even discussed it with Tom Selleck, who at the time was a huge star. Mm-hmm. So all these bigger stars were being tapped to be the Terminator. You yourself didn't even want to play the Terminator. You wanted to play the other guy, John Connor.
Kyle Reese.
Kyle Reese. You wanted to be Kyle Reese.
That's right.
And the director said to you, "Hey, man, are you crazy? The movie's about the Terminator."
Right.
And how did you beat out those guys? Was it because of the success of Conan? Without Conan, they probably wouldn't have looked at you.
I think without Conan, they wouldn't have looked at me, number one. And number two, I think what happened was it was a total coincidence because I didn't even try out for Terminator. I was trying to be Kyle Reese. And during the lunch, when I met with James Cameron, the director, right, and then the producer from Hamdale, John Daly, and those guys, I kept talking all the time about the Terminator. I said to Cameron, I said, "No, remember, it doesn't matter. I know you guys have already probably hired O.J. Simpson," I said, "but whoever is playing it, I just want you to be clear. He has to train himself to disassemble weapons and to put weapons together and to shoot and to load the weapons and all of this stuff blindfolded. Totally blindfolded, because a Terminator can never ever look down at his hand what he's doing, because he's a machine.
He's a robot.
And I said, when he walks, he has to have a certain walk. When he scans and looks around, he has to have a certain scan. It has to be absolutely clear at all times that this is a machine with absolute no human behavior."
So here,
and so he said to me after all this talk, but this went on like this for an hour, what I just did, right?
You didn't even know you were excited about it.
No, because I saw the Yul Brynner character in Westworld,
right,
where he played the machine. And so I was so, kind of amazed at his performance. And he was an extraordinary actor.
Fabulous.
So I kept talking about this and talking about it, how he has to walk, how he has to get up, and how he has to tear his flesh out, and how he has to operate on his eye, and and no pain, and no feelings, and James Cameron looked at me at the end of the lunch, and he said, "So why don't you play Terminator? I mean, you understand him so well, this character. This is exactly what we need." And I said, "No, Jim. Please.
I'm an actor.
I say, I counted the amount of lines this guy says.
Right.
It's 27 lines.
That's right.
I said, in Conan, I had 128 lines. I said, so I'm not going to go backwards. I said, you can give it to someone else. I said, but I want to talk a lot. I want to perform. I want to be the leading man. He says, I will make that guy the leading man. It's called the Terminator. I will shoot it from below up. You will look heroic. And don't worry about killing all those people. Because you're a machine. No one is going to blame Arnold. You're a machine.
Right.
You're acting a machine."
But thank God you had the wisdom to listen to this guy.
That's right.
And your whole career has really been about listening to the right people. Joe Weider, who understood bodybuilding and understood how your career should go, and you allowed him to mentor you. And by listening to people, and there's another good lesson. If you think you know everything, you're lost, right? You can't make it.
Right.
So in the case of the Terminator, as well as you understood the character, you almost blew your most famous line. You wanted to make the line, "I will be back," because in your mind, a computer would say, "I will be back." And Cameron, who is meticulous, said, "Listen, it's "I'll be back." Don't screw with the line," right? He yelled at you.
Well, it got to that point.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct. I mean, because I very casually said, Jim, I would just rather say, I will be back. And I thought that he was going to go right by, and he would say, say whatever you want, Yeah. And then and he says, "No, I like it. I'll be back." And I said, "No, what about a machine?" I said, "A machine will not abbreviate "I'll." Plus, it sounds really weird when I said "I'll."
Right.
It sounds weak. I said, "Why don't we say "I will be back"?" And he says, no, just say I'll be back. I said, but it's better I will be back. And he says, what does the goddamn script say?
Because you're being a pain in the
now
ass.
I said, script says I'll be back. And he says, then say the fucking line, okay? I mean, I don't correct your acting, so don't correct my fucking writing. What's the matter with you, Arnold?
But isn't it great to collaborate with a guy who's that definite? He knows I'll be back is right.
Oh, I mean, he's
a genius.
He is a genius. I mean, and he is so right, because there's a reason why he wrote it this way. He maybe knew it's going to be one of those powerful lines. I didn't know. I didn't see anything in it.
No, who would know that?
I was amazed when I came out, when we had the screening of the movie, and then kids came up to me and said, say the line, I'll be back. And I said, I'll be back. And I said, no. The way you say it in the movie. So I said, I'll be back. Yeah, that's the way. So then we knew that we had a big line here.
Was it the most exciting thing in your life when you go to see that movie for the first time with audiences and you realize the power of it? Because when you're making it, you don't know how powerful it's going to be, right?
You don't know when you make it, and even when you go and see it, you don't know if other people will respond the same way. Because remember that in those days, action movies were the B movies,
right?
Were the dust movies, and the rug movies were the elegant movies, right?
Right.
So it was always kind of the studio made the B movies because they wanted to make some money quickly with a little budget, and it was through a little bit of money in the promotion, but that was it. And then all of a sudden, this movie became Time Magazine's top 10 movie of the year.
Were you beside yourself?
They were scrambling.
Were you beside yourself? I mean, it had to be the most exciting point in your life. Better than winning the governor's race, anything.
Oh, I was so excited. At this point, as you know, I was now full-fledged. I mean, 100% my energy went to acting, and I saw myself that I could become a leading man, even though no one in Hollywood believed that could happen. Many agents and managers and studio executives, everyone said it's impossible.
And now everyone wants you.
And now, of course, it is everything is turned around.
Do you get bitter in a sense? Do you say to some of those people, you know what, screw you. Look at what I've accomplished now. I am now in the movie The Terminator. I've hit it with Conan, and you all said no to me. Did you ever sort of go over there and politely say, fuck you?
No, not really, because I tell you why. Because I have been in America, and I've seen firsthand the fact of the matter is, no matter how many people say no, or they don't believe in you, it's still the land of opportunity. It still was this country. Someone like a Ed Pressman did step forward. Someone like a Dina De Laurentiis did step forward.
Right.
Tom Pollock, who was the head of Universal Studios, and Sid Sheinberg, they did step forward and say, we believe in